Super Rugby round 17, the Saturday games. I am going to try and keep this one a wee bit briefer. My trip home from work today was horrendously slow. I need to go have some dinner. So let's get cracking with the first one. The Crusaders and the Rebels. It's the Crusaders' last regular game of the season. So they do need a couple of points, I think, to guarantee basically home status throughout the rest of the playoffs, assuming they make it, all the way to the end. And the Rebels are kind of fighting for their position at the moment. They are 6th overall on 34 points. So there are teams lurking behind them, just waiting for them to drop points, essentially, so that they can pass them for that playoff spot. So it's a similar situation to what the Rebels were in last year. The Crusaders haven't made many changes. Brynhall starts ahead of Drummond, and Matt Todd is in at number 7. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's that same side that lost over in Fiji to the Chiefs. And if you think about the loss they had a few rounds ago now against the Waratahs, they came back the next game and beat the Hurricanes 32-8 away, and it was a really dominant victory. When they drew against the Sharks, the next game they went and beat the Bulls away 43 points to 13. Admittedly, when they drew against the Stormers, their result was a win over the Blues 19 to 11, so not as emphatic. But the Crusaders have shown they don't like not winning, and they tend to rectify that with the next game. So, yeah, the Rebels, I guess, should look out. Although, that being said, the Crusaders have not had their second bye, and they're the only team, aside from the Chiefs, who are on the bye this week, who haven't had that trip to South Africa and back to New Zealand and then to Fiji, maybe kind of taking its toll. So maybe it's a chance for the Rebels to capitalize. The Rebels have made a bunch of changes because, like I said, there's a bunch of teams on 31, 30, 29, 28 points. So they need to keep fresh, and that's what they've done. It's the first game, I think, Quade Cooper starts from the bench. They've got Tamua starting. They've got Ruda starting ahead of Guinea. He's not even in the squad. Ulysses gets a start. That guy needs to stay injury-free for his Wallabies prospects as well. Talakai starts. Billy Meeks starts in the midfield. I think English is on the wing. So, yeah, there's all kinds of changes for that Rebels team. It's a tough ask, but they desperately need some points. But the bookies have got the Crusaders by 20, so kind of winning by plenty, I guess. Yeah, we'll see if they can get any points out of it. It doesn't seem very likely. The next is the Waratahs and the Brumbies. Waratahs kept their hopes alive with their win last week, and they need more of the same because they are on 30 points. One of those teams trying to chase down the likes of the Rebels. 30 points, 10th overall. They need to keep the points coming. They're at home. I think they're in Western Sydney this week, so not really home because they've been kind of nomads this season, moving all around New South Wales, but anyway, they've only made one change to their team that won last week, and that's Staniforth in the second row. So it looks like there's no Hannigan this week. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. So keeping it consistent. They are playing the Brumbies. Now, the Brumbies are on kind of a late season swing. I mean, the Waratahs are perhaps doing just enough at the end. We'll see. But, yeah, the Brumbies are 3rd overall. They're top Aussie Conference, 39 points. Looking pretty good for a playoff spot at this point. They've been playing some good rugby. Muirhead is in this week, so there's no Henry Spate. Cusack moves from 6 to 7, so Valtini, who's another guy who's a bit injury prone, needs a bit of consistent game time. He's in at 6. Otherwise, it's an unchanged lineup for them as well. My daughter's crying. She must be wanting David Pocock to be playing. He's not playing. He's not going to be playing any Super Rugby. He's done with that. So, yeah, I suppose at home, the Waratahs get the advantage, and the bookies do have them by a solitary point. But otherwise, the Brumbies have been in good form. So this is going to be a pretty big game, and the Waratahs kind of backed into a corner. May just get it done if the Brumbies don't, bring their A game. But like I said, they've made very few changes, so it looks like they are keeping consistency and trying to get the win. The next one. The Lions and the Hurricanes. Now, this is an interesting game because it is 4th overall against 5th overall, although on points, the Hurricanes should be 2nd if it weren't for the conference system. So, either way, I think the Hurricanes need a couple of points to guarantee that they get a home quarterfinal. I think they can potentially pass the Crusaders, but the Crusaders basically need to drop this last game, which doesn't seem that likely, but the Hurricanes will know that edge of their fate before they play this game, so that'll be good for them. But then likewise, if they do drop their last two games, I think there's a chance they could miss out, but I think the Lions would have to get two big wins. So the Lions will be looking to rob some points here. They're also trying to chase down the Jaguares, but I think the Jaguares also have a game against the Sunwolves coming up as well. So, yeah, either way, everybody needs to win, basically. The Lions, unchanged. Unchanged team. It's very rare that you see that. Sean Reynolds still gets the nod at 10. Out in Yankees is kind of still in Naughty Boys corner, although he is back on the bench this week, so he's in the squad. So starting 15 unchanged. Out in Yankees on the bench for the Lions. The Hurricanes, on the other hand, have made a fair few changes. Marshall's in at fullback. Jordy Barrett moves to the midfield. Chase Tiatia's on the wing. Gareth Evans, number 8. Duplessis Karifi is at number 7. And Red Princep is at number 6. So obviously, Vaya Fafita has been suspended for, I think, 3 weeks. So he's not going to be seen. Ricky Riccatelli also comes at number 2. There's no Almua. Dane Coles is on the bench. That one also looks like a pretty tough game. So the Hurricanes have got their South African trip late. So yeah, how they go in Joburg will be an interesting one. Most of the New Zealand teams are already kind of done with that stage of their campaign. But Hurricanes by 2 is what the bookies say for that one. With Adi Savia on the bench, I suppose we'll see if he kind of brings some impact because he's been in top form. So, but I mean, you still got likes of Lamapi there. Ben Lamb, Bowden Barrett, TJ Perenara. I think it's their 100th game as a 9-10 combo starting. So we'll see how that one pans out. Next, Stormers and Sunwolves. Well, basically the Stormers need to thrash them. They need a bonus point win. Everyone else has been doing it. So why not us? I guess you will think if you are a Stormers fan. But man, have the Stormers made a load of changes. So I don't know if they'll be shooting themselves in the foot with this. Dylan Lades moves to fullback from the wing. Craig Barry comes in. Dan Creel is in. Edville van der Merwe is in. I'm not familiar with him. Someone please give me a bio. Jean-Luc Duplessis comes in for Stander. Jaco Kutsia moves from 6 to 8. Johan de Toy moves from 7 to 6. Ernst van Rijn's there. Chris Van Sale's there, Malherba's there, Mbanambi's there, so there's a lot of changes. It's a very, very mixed squad. It's been working for the Jaguares. They've been doing a lot of rotation, but this seems like mass changes. I guess it's the Sunwolves, which is potentially part of the reason they're doing it. The Sunwolves have made a few changes, but not as many. Conan O'Donnell starts this week. Brekvadze starts at hooker. Hasagawa also gets a start in the back row alongside Matsuhashi. In the backs, the only change is Josh Timu comes in at 13. Otherwise, it's still Masarewa, Salmaki, and Vanden Hieva in their back three, which is a pretty tidy back three. On their day, the Stormers well know, if you don't play well against them, they could give you a bloody nose. So, Stormers by 24 is what the bookies have got for that one, and Stormers fans will definitely take that. The Stormers are 11th overall, also on 30 points. So it's kind of bonus point or bust here for the Stormers. This is their absolute opportunity to get back in potentially to the top 8, depending on how other results go. Obviously, their fate is not in their own hands, but they'll be doing themselves a big favour if they can pick up 5 points here. The Sunwolves get a chance to play spoiler. They can do that, but not much else because they're down on 12 points. So their season's been done for a wee while. The last one. The Jaguares against the Sharks. Now, the Jaguares are in great form. 2nd overall. They are on 41 points. 9 wins, 5 losses. Very impressive record. Good tour of Australia and New Zealand. Playing the Sharks, who are 33 points. Now, they are just scraping into that playoff spot like they did last year. 8th overall, 6 wins, a draw, and 7 losses. You got to feel that one of these teams behind the Sharks is going to get a win. So the Sharks need some points, definitely need some points. But the Jaguares at home at this point seems pretty tough. Although the Jaguares have made a bunch of changes, but they have been doing that every week basically, and it's not been affecting their performance levels, which is Pretty impressive. So Boffelli's at fullback, Cancellieri's on the wing. Carreras retains his spot. De La Fuente comes back into 12. Otherwise, you've got also it's Kubeli is the only other change in the back line. It's still Bonisia at number 10. In the forwards, you've got Leguizamon back, Materas starting, Crema starting at lock, Medrano starting prop, and Vivas as well. So Crevi keeps his spot ahead of Montoya at 2. But that's a fair few changes. Sharks have moved Bosch from 10 to 15. So that means Rob Dupree Jr. is back at 10. There won't be that many fans of that. I do like Rob Dupree, but I think he's been out of form a wee bit in the latter half of the season. So I'm not sure about that move, but hey, maybe he will kick well and put the pressure on. Tyler Paul is also starting alongside him in the forward pack is Hyron Andrews. Otherwise, it's a pretty stable lineup, so not so many changes for the Sharks as the Jaguares. They'll both have the same kind of travel factor, so that shouldn't be an issue for either team. The Jaguares will probably finish second overall. They'll be looking to really put that in stone with a win here, because you can't guarantee their result against the Sunwolves the week after, but probably. So yeah, the Jaguares by 7 is what the bookies have for that one. So yeah, there's a fair bit of interesting action to go on here. Waratahs lose and they're done. The Stormers lose and they're done. The Sharks lose, will be in trouble. The Rebels will also be in trouble. And the Lions and the Hurricanes, that's kind of a mid-top table clash, which neither is going to be done if they lose, but they'll certainly put themselves in a much better position if they win. So yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the games, and I will talk to you again soon. I'm going to go have dinner. See you later.